Hello, everybody. I am Jason Douglas. I am with Metadata, and I'm excited that you have joined today to talk about landing pages and how to do them better, in short. Uh, while we wait for people to come on in, I'd love two things. One, if there's any question throughout this, we have a Q&A section. You should see that on the right side. We also have a chat area, which is for all to contribute, and same with the Q&A too. Love to hear from everybody to see where everyone is from. I'm in Minnesota, just outside of Minneapolis, where it's freezing. I'm huddled inside. I'm hibernating. It's -1 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is where I'm at. Would love to see where everyone else is from. New York, hello. I think you are a little cold like we are. Yep. Yes, where you're from and your temperature right now. Let's do that. Montreal, yes. As I was just told by a UK client, like you're basically Canada earlier today. So yes, I feel that as well. Aurora, I was just in Aurora last month. Too bad we didn't connect then. Hi, Christina. Oh, 18 degrees in Chicago, Santa. That sounds lovely. It's almost shorts worthy. Michael in NorCal, 58 degrees. Very jealous. That's a good flex right now. Indianapolis, Tel Aviv, New York, Boulder, Maryland, a lot of great spots. Most of them warmer, although Fort Worth, a wind chill of -5. Yeah, you might as well be in Minnesota here. That's crazy down there. Snow imminent in Charlotte. That's a weather warning right here. Oh, Arizona. There we go. 77 and balmy. Kyle, you win. I hope you're getting around to golf in today. Another SoCal 65. Boston 32. Again, 33 degrees warmer than back here in Minnesota. Now we're getting the warm people. Tampa, hello. Mitch, Minnesota, where are you in Minnesota? But yes, it is sunny here. Thank goodness. Otherwise, what would we have? Bangalore, 62, fantastic. I love seeing the reach of connecting everybody. We have Tel Aviv, we've got various spots in the US, we got Montreal, Bangalore. Like, this is amazing. I love this. It's one of my favorite things about doing any webinar, any meeting, is that just because we have this ability to connect uh, literally across oceans. So thank you all for joining. Let's hop in here. More people will come in. For anyone who missed the quick housekeeping pieces, there's a Q&A area, so if there's any questions throughout, pop it in there. The chat, I would love for it to be very engaging. I'm going to make it engaging because you don't want to just listen to someone like me for 30, 40 or so minutes. That's not as exciting as it sounds. But what I want to preface about today is if we have time at the end, we have scheduled an hour together. If we have time, I would love to do a live landing page audit for a lucky volunteer here, if you're willing to expose your landing page for the good or the opportunity, we'll call it, that might be on there. It's similar to the demand session I had last October. I did audit 2 landing pages live. I had not looked at them prior. I had no knowledge of what I was going to see, and we uncovered some very interesting things. So would love if we can do that today at the end, if that's possible. Otherwise, perhaps we can have some conversations offline. I'll give my contact info at the end here too. Rochelle, all right, we have a volunteer. A volunteer for tribute. Yeah, let's see all the volunteers, and maybe I'll draw a number or spin a wheel at the end here. But thank you all for joining. We were talking about landing pages. We're talking about converting people and learning why they're not. So there's a lot of reasons why. Let's go through what we're going to discuss today. What I hope you take away from today, biggest landing page mistakes that I see with accounts, with just observing the market itself. How psychology can impact visitor behavior. What your audience is actually doing on your pages. and a path to getting the basics right and start converting. So those are the 4 big topics. There's a lot inside of each that I think will be very important, that even if you take away a few of these things and can actually execute them, I theorize that you will be able to convert more on that particular page than you were previously. So that said, let's dive in. And we're going to play a little game, a little association game about the common landing page mistakes that I see. I'm going to show an image and I want you to tell me what you see and what you believe I'm getting at here. So the first one is a fun little image here. So love in the chat. Put in your thoughts in the chat on what you're seeing in this image and how this relates to a landing page. Clutter, that's a good word. Too much stuff. Communicating too much info. Poor organization. Yes, clutter again. I mean, you all are spot on. If I could thumb up all of those comments here, I would. Try every landing page tactic. Sure. Yeah. Just throw everything on the wall and see if something works. 100%. This is representing just, again, the too much info, the hoarder thing of like, we need all the things on a landing page, regardless of the objective. I mean, whether it's a brand awareness or kind of like top of funnel where it should be informative. How long is a page? How long should it be? There's someone on that respective team or multiple teams that are saying, I need this on the page. I need that on the page. I have 10 things from a sales perspective I need to know before someone signs up. We'll get to that in a second here. Yes, needs more gifts. Yes, gifts are great. Side topic, maybe it's a poll later on. Is it GIF or is it GIF? I say GIF. If I'm wrong, I'll own it. I've heard GIF before. All right, GIF with a G. Perfect. But yes, we're aligned there. Too much clutter, too many things, like very much like, what am I supposed to do? Let's go to the next common issue I see. Potentially an inspiring image in most cases, but is it for landing pages? What do you think this means? Please put your thoughts in the chat. And this one isn't as obvious, I don't think. Thinking about retirement. No call to action. Okay, confusion. Having to think too much. I don't know what you want me to focus. Okay, this is not knowing what to do. Vague. Doesn't provoke action. Why? Yeah, the big life question of why, right? All of these are fantastic. This wasn't even part of what I was going to get at, but all of these are absolutely valid and I think are very related to this image. The point that it struck me was waiting for a page to load. Now, there are some people who forget that this is an experience thing. It isn't just what's on the page, but we need to be able to get to it. We only have so much time to attract someone's attention. 5 seconds, often less, is what I've seen in various studies. And if our page takes a few seconds to load, we might not even have the opportunity to present our content, our value propositions and such to a visitor. They might leave because they think the site's broken. So yes, waiting is the hardest part. But yeah, could be too vague, could be just kind of the unknown, confusing. Similar to the last image, it's just too much, it's confusing, it's overwhelming. Like, what does this all mean? So those are common issues I see. Slow loading page, which of course you can always test with Google Page Speed Insights. And then there's other solutions that help do that as well. Let's go to the next image. All right. So we see a application for a US passport. That's what we're seeing here. What do you think this represents? Too many fields, TMI, right? Cluttered landing page and wonders, why did I even come here in the bingo? all of you are correct on this. This is something I commonly see when a sales team wants all the information up front to ensure that they're only getting qualified leads. Does that necessarily mean by asking 10, 11, 12 things, or, heaven forbid, what feels like 2 pages worth? I mean, we're not trying to interview someone just so then they can get a demo with us or get a white paper or email subscription or something. But yes, I see this a lot where we're asking things that don't actually matter or could be discovered in an actual conversation with that prospective buyer. Sure, it's easier to have someone else do the work, but in doing that, you might be preventing people from converting. If I see a page that has more than just a handful, I'm a lot less likely to fill that out, even if it's something that I'm interested in. See it all across the board, unfortunately. And finally, another common landing page mistake. I feel like this is almost like a therapy session. Like, tell me what you see. What does this mean to you? But what do you believe this image represents here? Non-responsive. Okay. Poor mobile experience. All right. Pages are not mobile first. Below the fold info. Okay. 100%. The below the fold info. We'll talk about that in a little while, but that is a good call out, Jana. John, Christina, Pratap, 100%. It's about the mobile experience or perhaps lack thereof. It's something that, especially in the paid side, specifically Google. Now it's could be for all pages, but since you can easily track, where traffic is coming from a mobile versus desktop, or even the very small fraction that still uses tablet, how much money is being wasted on a poor mobile experience? I'm working with a client right now who, through an audit, I uncovered that their conversion rate on the mobile experience for landing pages was less than 1/4%. So not a percent, but a quarter of that. 1% is my minimum of like being okay and fine. Anything below that is a red flag. If we're at 0.25%, it's a very big red flag. That page or the mobile experience accounted for 6% of the conversions that were generated from that account, spent 21% of the budget. That doesn't seem proportionate. Basically, you're wasting $1 in every $5 spent on something that converts very poorly, solely because the mobile experience wasn't optimized. It was confusing. It was cluttered. It wasn't clear on what to do. It might have loaded slowly. All the things that we talked about earlier could have been factors on why that client was wasting money on mobile. But we didn't know this until we saw the data that supported it. So again, no, you can find this in Google. A little more difficult to do it on the social side, but just know that if it's true for Google, it's probably true across the board if you're bringing people from LinkedIn, from Facebook, from Instagram, or from any other paid channel to a landing page. Now, luckily in Google, you can bid against a mobile experience. We can bid down 100% to ensure, hey, we're not going to be shown in mobile auctions. So that's a way to temporarily fix it, but we might be losing people. We know 1 in 5 people in that client are visiting from mobile. So we should probably satisfy that market as well. So yeah, great call outs by everybody. Some that I wasn't even thinking of for my purposes here. So this is perfect. Thank you for that. Let's talk about next psychology, as if we didn't just do a psychological exercise just now on the image association. But psychology absolutely impacts visitor behavior. How? I'm going to give a basic example and actually use one of our landing pages as an example. So here's a landing page on our demo. Sign up. So you see metadata in action, automate paid campaigns, drive more revenue, and our fields. Do you trust this page more or this page? So either with or without the G2 banners. Second, social proof. Yes, that is the key here. Social proof is important, and it doesn't have to just be G2. There's so many different levels of social proof that we can talk about. Is it a banner on G2? Is it a Forrester, Wave report, TEI? Is it some other award that's more industry specific? Is it security pieces? Are you GDPR, CCPA? Do you have ISO 27001? Those things can and do matter depending on the industry. But if we don't have those present, you're just hoping that the content itself works out. And even, not to call us out, but I think there's probably more we could show here, even if we have this version here with a few badges. Automate paid campaigns and drive more revenue. By how much? What am I going to get? What's the average? And we can, oops, I'll use an error there. We can actually look more into exactly that on what other proof points exist. I'm going to open up our page here. So this is the live version. We have the badges, but right below the fold, and someone mentioned below the fold earlier, data points. These are hidden right now. Someone has to scroll, albeit a little bit, but they still have to do an action that isn't necessarily what you want people to do. But if I know that groups can generate millions of pipeline and we can create hundreds of opportunities and lead to MQL rates are often higher than what you would do natively, yeah, those are things that the audience that we want to engage with care about. So data is another point of social proof. Testimonials are another point of social proof. And we see Andrew here talking about he can't imagine running paid media natively again. That'd be like going back to dial-up. These are excellent social proof pieces that, unfortunately, you don't see when you land on this page. Perhaps for our team, maybe we should test bringing some of that up above the fold to get better validation, to not just say G2 thinks highly of us. So do our customers. It's so close. If someone just scrolls just a small amount, it's there. But when we only have a handful of seconds to attract someone's attention, we're not necessarily assuming that they're going to scroll, even if it's a shorter page. Whatever we can do to bring data, support, and trust up front absolutely matters. So that psychological piece, if we don't have that, we might lose. So if we go back to this version, again, I can see metadata in action, but I don't have necessarily a reason why. It's a trial walkthrough, okay, but what can metadata do for me? We can do a lot. And this isn't meant to be a shameless plug, but we should talk about that, perhaps. So yeah, the social proof, trusting the second piece, social proof converts better in every case that I have worked on at varying degrees. But if you don't have social proof on your landing pages, you're probably missing out. So if we're bringing all this great traffic and we're paying good money to bring people to this amazing content that we've created, what are they actually doing? Well, I took a random landing page that I observed recently in a second, but this is what they're doing. I'm a marketer. Of course I can focus on this for them. Oh my gosh, another SEO is dead post. Like, think of it as like the squirrel syndrome. We have so many things that can distract us, whether we're in an office, we're at home. I've got two other screens, one to my left, one to my right, that have an embarrassing amount of tabs and groups tied to them. Those are all distraction points. And that's not necessarily the landing page's fault, but it's something we have to compete against. We can't control what someone else has on the screen, if they're playing music or not, if they got a dog or cat. That's active, if they got a kid at home. But what we can control is what we do present people on our page. So let's take a look at this one here. This is one that I did observe yesterday. I hid the logo because I do not have authority by this group to show it. But this one is a very interesting page. I'd love for the group in the chat to tell me what you see that's good, what you see that you don't like, and let's compare our notes here. I'll give you all a few seconds here. And note, while you're in the chat talking about this page and kind of giving your own quick audit, I do see there's a couple questions. I'll address those in a minute here. One of those actually relates to this example here, Christina. So we'll get to you in a second. Kyle, I see yours as well. All right, several fields, too wordy. Chris Brahma, I think I know that name. Well, good to hear from you. Headline, clear CTA. Could be too many fields in the form. Katie, that is a fair assessment. Too much blank space. Landing pages shouldn't have a menu. I don't know what I'm getting after filling this out. All these are 100% valid. 100% valid. So yeah, let's go back. Let me go back to the page here. Yeah, the form is something that I'm a little confused at. I think from a sales perspective, if I'm asking for work email, which is completely valid, you don't want a free mail, even if you have enrichment, say through metadata, you still want that business email. Why do we need the company name still? It seems redundant. We could cut one field right there. How did you hear about us? Well, I get we're trying to do some attribution there, but it's another field that is there that now we're telling people to do something ahead of time. Could sales ask for that? How can we help? Tell us what you're looking for. Does that mean we don't understand our audience? Like, there's a few fields I think are unnecessary. Also, I see 2 CTAs. Now, I know that purple button near the bottom is the submit button, but it is technically hidden. I don't know what that button actually means or what it says, because what the cutoff here was what was below the fold. If you can tell at the top, this group is offering a free marketing strategy audit. So do you want me to contact you or do you want me to engage in the audit? Clutter, it's that first image. Too many things. Confusing. What do we want to do? Heck, here's what happened to me when I did a screenshot of this. I accidentally hovered over one of the navigation areas and the drop down covered the entire page. And how many other friction points do we have here? Confusion. Mass amounts of confusion. And not trying to be dramatic here, but every link in this drop down, the growth marketing, data intelligence, consulting, and creative, that's 4. 5, view all services. The 5 in paid media. The 3 in earned media. The 5 in owned media. So there's 23 different points that I could engage with that are outside of what I want people to do. I think anyway, which is sign up for something. Or maybe it's the audit. It's a lot. Yeah, CTA below the fold, like that. That's tough. A side note, this little icon here in the lower left is an accessibility one. And coming from an accessibility background, my previous employer from many years ago specialized in that. It's a little off-putting to put this very publicly for someone who might have an impairment of any level as a reminder of, oh, you have this. So now that we've called it out, how can we help you adjust to make sure our page is good enough for you? There's solutions that do that. They're cheap. I'm not a fan of them. So just that was the first thing I actually noticed, again, based on my background. Optimizing for accessibility for all people, 100% on board with that. Do that. It's worth the investment. And do your best to not have it as like a little app add-on. It's a Band-Aid. to the issue itself. So this thing like that does not mean you are compliant in any way. So just know that. So yeah, there's a litany of things that I see here just from a front end experience perspective that are a bit off-putting. Too much clutter. The navigation. So to the question that Christina had, how do I feel about the main navigation versus hiding it on landing page or including the full footer? Dare I say the very redundant answer that marketers give of it depends, but in most cases I am a proponent of hiding the top nav, hiding the bottom nav, especially if it's a more middle to bottom funnel piece where we want people to do something very specific. Let's make sure that that is the option that they have, the option. Otherwise, in the example that's showing on the screen, there could be dozens of opportunities to go elsewhere that don't necessarily mean you're getting people closer to conversion. So in the case of like a brand awareness perspective, or very top of funnel, very informational, you can have it. If people are brand new to your brand, it's okay to have them explore a little bit. There's different things you can do with that traffic that you're generating. If we've got people that simply just bounce after exploring the one page, okay. But if you have people that are engaged with multiple pages, maybe that shows a little more intent. Or it can show that people aren't finding what they want. So like, it's tough to say like one metric would determine what you do. It depends, but in most cases, navigation should go away. Let's make it easy for them to do what they want. In this case right here, if I was actually to fill out all those fields, fine, but I don't know where they are now that this pop-up or the menu has shown up here. So great question. Kyle, while we're here, Kyle asked about best practices on how we can overcome design challenges when faced with limited HTML development options, knowledge, and execute a strong integrated copy design using a drag drop builder like HubSpot or countless other landing page creators. There's a lot of different templates based on what objective you have that are available. We'll get to this at the end here, but simple and basic, in my opinion, is best. Whatever we can do to keep things simple and keep our very specific social proof. Explain what someone's getting by engaging. Make it easy for them to engage. Fewer fields. Like, as long as we can follow those pieces and simplify that, that's going to give you the best chance of success. Usually drag and drop should be able to do some of that, again, depending on what templates you have. But if we keep it simple, that's going to be my best advice. Great questions. Yeah, for top, yeah, always hiding nav and footer sections on high intent pages, 100%. Every link that's out there is another point of friction. Probably going to hurt conversion rates. So, what happens? Yeah, in short, it's the homer just hiding in the bushes. They see all this stuff and they're just like, I'm going to go away. I don't like this. It's too much. It's probably what's happening. The client that I talked about earlier that had the mobile poor conversion rate, 0.25%, that's what 1 in 5 people are likely doing. More often than not. So how do we prevent that? How do we go back and fix the basics? So we're just going to go through a little list of what I would recommend we address or start thinking about addressing, knowing that we can't do all the things at once. But we have to remember it is all about the experience, and I really should edit this to say it's all about their experience. How do we make it as easy for our visitor, whether it's paid or earned, to do what we want them to do on any device we're targeting? If there's a point of the page that we don't believe brings value, it shouldn't be part of it. If that navigation isn't going to help us get a demo request, it shouldn't be there. If the footer information, if someone does scroll to the bottom, depending on how long your page is, if those links aren't bringing value, they shouldn't be there. What can we provide? Again, the social proof, data, validation, which ties into the second point. Build trust and prove value immediately. Remember, your timeline to get someone to engage, 5 seconds at most. If we aren't conveying that value and building that trust within 5 seconds, it is very likely we've lost that person. So again, whether that's G2, validation, security certificates, anything, awards that say we're the best, data points on like, hey, we work with so many groups in the Fortune 500, or these are the results we commonly see, stuff like that, that are relatable to what someone is engaging with you for because they're not getting that right now. Those are the value pieces that we need to be integrating. And again, something I think our page could be doing better. And third, centralize the visitor's focus on what you want them to do. Instead of having that hoarder squirrel experience of like, here's all the things, does one of them work for you? If we have set the stage specific to paid and even email, we want you to do X. That should be put in an email, that should be put in our ad content. And once someone lands on that page and clicks through, they should see that's exactly what you still want them to do and only want them to do. Especially with Google or Bing, any search, if we have a linear relationship between what someone's searching for, the ad content, and that landing page, if all of those are working well, that is giving us the best likelihood of getting that person to convert. If they've searched for the right intent, we're telling them we can solve their problem and be the solution. And within the landing page, we're presenting an easy path to get that conversation going. Bingo. If someone is learning about a specific brand or, hey, they're not quite pain aware, let's present more information about that issue and how you're maybe the solution as high up on the page as we can, because we might only have a few seconds to attract their attention. And if that first few seconds is good, they'll probably stay, scroll through a little bit more of that content. If it's a long form page, they're more likely to do that. So experience centric, centralize a focus, trust and value. These are 3 things, maybe 4. If we can do this better, you will do better. So from the presentation perspective, that's what I've had. That's where we're at. We do have extra time for someone, a brave person, to send over a landing page. And I'm happy to give it a once over. I don't want to say a roast necessarily. This isn't like Comedy Central's roast, but I'm happy to give a view if you're willing to share it with the public. I thought there was a volunteer or two early on. If you still would like that, please send over. All right, let's take a look at this. Rochelle, thank you for volunteering. All right, again, I've not seen this. And I'm actually going to reopen it again. I'm going to stop sharing and share my whole window so we can see it load in full. Share the window here. All right, so we're opening up the page here. All right, so I loaded it once before. It took a few seconds, Rochelle, to know what would be here in this white space. The text, tell us about your marketing KPIs, did load it right away, but the fields did not. It took about 3.5 seconds. So kind of bordering on that 5-second window we have. We've got the cookie piece, understandable, but it does cover the field. So it's a little bit of friction here. Let's talk about your marketing ambitions. Okay, we'd love to hear about your goals. We have a lot of information here. So that's great. All right. This loaded after I scrolled down. Hermetic, Fiverr, Meetup. So a little bit of social proof there. I believe these are groups you probably work with. So like that makes sense, but it took a little bit to load. So just know that like when we're thinking about above the fold, that's below the fold. Between the nav, which look at that. I clicked on, didn't even click on it, I just rolled over. And that menu's coming down. If the point of this page is to get people to connect with us and talk about if you want to work with us, not sure if the nav is needed here. And if we could bring up some of this content here up, we could get these logos to be visible. I'm going to accept all cookies. Also, phone number. Only field that's not required here. Why would we have it then? When someone fills out this form, think about what that next step is the salesperson does. Is it a call or is it an email? If it's a call, then we probably want that to be required. Because if someone doesn't leave their phone number, then you do email and that's outside of your process. Also, message. What am I messaging you? Like if this is required, I should know what I'm supposed to provide here. Like, how did you hear about us? That's very clear. But message, I don't get that. I don't know what that means. Oh, do you want me to get a free session? Which just brings us back to the same page. Or do you want me to sign up on the original one here? So redundancies, part of that nav, I'm guessing contact us, brings us back to the same. So we have two additional links visible that just bring us back to the same spot. I think there's some friction there and just any confusion we insert into the process hurts us. And I'm not seeing any data points. I see what you probably provide, psychology into buyers, understanding a product and your sales cycle. Like all these are good points from an agency view. Now that's my background too. So like all this makes sense, but I don't know if by engaging with your group, how you're going to do better than either my current group or my internal team. So the big takeaways here, Rochelle. Oh, look at that. The list is coming through here. Make sure that everything loads as quickly as possible. About 3.5 seconds on the forms. Are all the forms necessary? Is a nav necessary? Social proof. Have that above the fold. Data. So I think there's a lot there that could be improved on. All right, let's look at the other here. A lot of volunteers. I love this. Let's see. Let's go in order. Jana was second here. Let's see this. Have not seen this page yet. Okay, this is your contact page. I'll accept all cookies because I'm a good marketer. Where do I contact you? Oh, do I wait for the pop-up that took 5-ish seconds to either do one of these things? Or am I supposed to scroll down? Oh, okay. So I'm basically choosing my journey here. So let's say I'm a prospective client. Now I've got my form. So, okay, so I see company name, country, email, food service spend. So I think there's from the field perspective, like, okay, so we have 9 fields total. They're all required. So if everything's important, not much is important. And again, it's hidden. If this is my first impression here, I don't understand what the guy holding the phone and the pad of paper represents. That's my biggest critique here is that this space right here, to be harsh, it's wasted. If we are going to have this as a very general page where anybody can come to this, I'm guessing this is not a page. And if it is a page that you have specific segments where we know, hey, prospects versus existing versus suppliers and such. It's a very general page where, again, let's hope you're one of these and we'll talk to you. But you have to tell us who you are first. If you're using this in paid media, there's ways in some channels to be more specific about, hey, I want to show this experience to only prospective buyers, or hey, this is for current clients, and so on. But also, even within here, you can either call or fill out this form, or you can email us. Or this box here is kind of interesting that it doesn't look like this and as wide as the forms are. Now I can change it. I knew that, but why would it default to this? So also the nav, kind of interesting that everything is left adjusted to start. So in short, this image wasted space. If we got rid of that, move everything up, so at least we're giving ourselves a better chance for someone to actually engage with this page. And we don't want people to have to do more than they should. And if we can have this more centralized around a specific person or persona, I think that helps. Well, we could sign up to stay up to date. Again, here's everything. Hopefully you're interested in something. That's kind of the vibe I get from this page. But thank you for sharing that. Jana, was that helpful? Yep, of course. And again, like this is a super brief audit. There's so many other things that you can look into from more of a technical perspective. The page loading time. This page seemed to load within a second and a half or two, so like pretty good. Let's see. Happy to do one more. Let's see. We got PLs, we got Fionas, we got Charus, we got Laura's. Last sometimes wins. Laura, we're going to choose you here. So let's share the screen real quick. All right. So I can tell based on the URL, request a demo. Find out how Pondurance can work for you. View my video. Okay. So I can view a video. So you just curious. 2 minutes. It's a 2-minute video. Interesting. So business email. So let's just hypothetically see if you really gate it. I'm just looking. We're going to accept that. Get the business email. Of these, let's see, first name, last name, country, 5, 6, 7 fields or options to engage with. How much of this information is vital for someone to take a call with this person or book a meeting? First name, sure. Country, you could probably avoid this one in most cases if you just have your advertising segmented out to a specific region, like a US campaign versus an EMEA campaign and so on. So you have to have the selection of all the different countries out there. That's a lot. What if you are in Turkey or South Africa? That's a lot of scrolling. Oh, state, a little progressive form there. So the state matters. I'm guessing because you have sales regions. That adds another field though. And now I'm wondering what else am I going to get? Company revenue, let's just say that. So again, I'm giving a lot of information. How much of that, again, is absolutely vital for someone to take this call? Like if someone doesn't know revenue, does that mean they're disqualified? Something to discuss with the sales team. If you've seen poor conversion rates on this page, it could be because of the mass amount of forms. I like that there's no navigation, but why is the video important? It's interesting to see a video on a page where there's a form as well and to have them as parallel. Do you want me to watch the video or do you want me to sign up for a demo? Also, I could call you or email you. So there's just a lot of ways that I can engage, but I don't know how you want me to engage. I don't know what the value is. So to the point that someone made in the chat, why am I doing this? Great, there's a video here. Let's say I watch it all. That's 2+ minutes that I'm not doing what you want me to do primarily. I assume the primary purpose is the form, not the video. Video might be very good elsewhere. I don't know if it serves the right purpose here. To me, that seems like a 2-minute, 21-second friction point. We would like to give you a quick demo. It's nice. I appreciate that. As someone who does demos, I love giving demos. But I hope that person I'm demoing, the company I know that I'm demoing, I hope they know ahead of time some of the value that we bring to the table. What does Ponderance bring to the table? Being that you're in cybersecurity, there could be, hey, we block breaches at this rate higher than the industry average, or we have these certifications. Cybersecurity, I'm sure you've got to have some certifications here. Show them off. Very important to prove and build that trust here. I don't see that. I see you're asking me for a lot of information and to spend over 2 minutes on a video. So, Laura, was that helpful? Of course. Happy to help. Like, we can all do better. We want to do better. But we have to, again, be experience centric. Focus on what the visitor, the prospective customer that might be paying you 5-6 figures, how can we make it easier for them to do so? So I will close with this. Megan, tune in for just this one moment. I'm happy to do an audit one-on-one. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Send me an email. I'm happy to go through some audits one-on-one with you all. So if I didn't get to yours, I do apologize. So Megan, please reach out. Charu, please reach out. Fiona, please reach out as well. PL. So yeah, there's a lot. A lot of help is needed. And I hope that we did take away some pieces you can immediately integrate. That's the biggest piece here. I can tell you all about what I think you should do on landing pages based on data, based on experience. Others can tell you that too. It's about implementing. So as we close this out, if we have the moment to put in the chat, give me one thing that you learned today that you can and will immediately implement on your pages, or at least recommend, depending on how many people you have to talk to and get approved. Christina, social proof, staying focused for another Christina. Sam, social proof. That's awesome. And I'm sure everybody has some level of validation that we can show off, and we should show off. I know some of these validation points, like getting, security certificates, ISO 27001, CCPA, GDPR, various compliances aren't cheap. So we should use these. Forrester, I know, charges a fair amount to be part of their studies. Let's use them. Removing things that don't bring value. Make it simple. Yes, 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 yes. I can't agree with all of this enough. Again, please reach out via email. That's my work email. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I respond to messages more than I probably should. These little devices that we have here keep us nicely connected at all times. But I'd love to connect, talk through anything that you have questions about today's session. I'd love to see before and afters as well. Let's see, by implementing some of these changes, what that did. But please stay in touch. Thank you all for the time. Thank you for about an hour, potentially over your lunch, your breakfast, or your dinner, depending on where you're located. Have a wonderful rest of Wednesday and a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you all.